Hello, our topic is meaning of the 37 vibration. Why are we especially interested in 37? Because it's a prime number. And for many years, we have had a good understanding of the prime numbers up to 32. And it's only in the year 2019 that we began the serious research into the meaning of higher prime numbers. So it was in 2019 that we began the research into the meaning of 37. So here's a quote about prime numbers. The prime numbers play a vital role. They are often likened to the atoms in physics as the basic building blocks of matter, or alternatively, as the elements in chemistry which form the basic ingredients for all molecules. So prime numbers are the building blocks. If we understand the prime numbers, we understand all the numbers because the other numbers are just combinations of the prime numbers. So as I said, this research began in 2019 by astrologer Starlene Breiter. And at the 2019 Vibrational Astrology Conference, Starlene presented the meanings of vibrations 37, 41, and 43, the next three prime numbers. She did an extreme case sampling studies by making an astrosignature in the Sirius software to find out who has the most three-planet configurations with the tightest orbit of vibration. And we find people that have these huge 37 vibration configurations, and 37 vibrations should be conspicuous in their lives. This is a big research project, and Clarissa Dolphin, Linda Berry, and myself assisted Starlene in the research. So with Starlene's permission, I am including some of her findings and also some of her slides from her PowerPoint presentation at the 2019 Vibrational Astrology Conference. And Starlene's website is rockstarastrologer.com. Okay, now, over these past 2 years, a number of us vibrational astrologers have been using 37 vibration in every chart interpretation we do. Well, maybe not everyone, but a lot of the chart interpretations we do, we go up to 37. We look at it, we see if it makes sense. We're using them with clients, with famous people, and it's helped refine our understanding. So we have to have that hands-on feeling for the vibration in addition to going through the database to extract the meaning from the extreme cases. So at this point, by the year 2021, when I'm making this video, we now have that solid feeling for 37 vibration. And we're ready to present this information again with the benefit of these additional 2 years of using the ideas based on the research in the year 2019. Now, basically, we rely on the extreme case sampling and then applying the ideas in our work to find the meaning. Sometimes we can find out when the 37 vibration configuration is triggered by transits, and then we expect events and experiences in the person's life to reflect that vibration as well. There is something that gives us a hint. One more thing that gives us a hint as to what the vibration is doing, and that is the modulus functions. We subtract multiples of 30 from the prime number. So 37 minus 30 is 7. So typically there is a 7 quality that we will find. And then we subtract multiples of 24. 37 minus 24 is 13. We subtract multiples of 18. You subtract 37 minus 2 times 18, 37 minus 36, you get 1. So we get 7, 13, 1, 1, 1 for moduluses 30, 24, 18, 12, and 6. Why these moduluses? The reason is because prime numbers are actually arranged in these modulus functions. And the arrangement of them, according to these modulus functions, seems to affect their meaning. And for low number prime numbers, like prime numbers under 100, these patterns, these configurations by these modulus functions are obvious, they're conspicuous. As you go to super high prime numbers, they get lost. But with low prime numbers, it is a clear pattern that prime numbers are aligned by these modulus functions. So there, you will see, as I give these interpretations, that there is a 7 quality and a 13 quality that works into the meaning of 37. But keep in mind, it's just something that gives us a hint. These numbers 7, 13, 1, 1, 1 seem to get into the meaning in some way, But we don't rely on this modulus function. It just gives us an idea of something to look for while we're doing it. And so you will notice those numbers working into the meaning. Now, here's what 37 vibration means. We have up here in the subtitle, profound reflection fuels a life purpose. So that's a little phrase you can keep in mind. Profound reflection fuels a life purpose. These next few slides, in fact, a lot of the slides are taken right from Starlene's presentation in 2019. And with her permission, I'm putting it here at Astrology DC, so you have this information. The 37 vibration is like a cauldron of ideas that is cooked over time, and the spices get deeper into the food as it slowly cooks. It is like a stew, soup, or tea made of herbs and spices that has become rich, deep, and powerful. So we have this image of a cauldron cooking away here in the upper right corner. That is a very good image of 37 vibration. People with strong 37 vibration work on something, they reflect on something, they feel something, they experience it in a very deep way, and it's a persistent, deep inner interest that gets richer and deeper over time. The 37 vibration also serves its soup to others, because the soup has been developed over time with deep consideration of all of the details, and only finely aged cheeses and fresh herbs are used. The 37 vibration is confident in what it offers to the world, and it is not something frivolous or to be taken lightly. So 37 vibration does want to share what it has developed, but it's not its primary focus. Its primary focus is simply to develop this rich, deep understanding or rich, deep experience. It has to have that depth and that quality and that expertise and that mastery. And as it develops it, of course, it also wants to share it. And in that sharing, 37 vibration understands not everyone is going to appreciate its depth and its maturity. 37 vibration is not inclined to a lot of promotion, advertising. It's more interested in quality rather than quantity. And because of its depth, people do appreciate it. There are some people who will appreciate the benefit from this soup that is made with a special ancient recipe. There's the feeling of finding a special, deep, sometimes ancient recipe. So we say the 37 vibration is like a badass witch, and by the badass part of it, we mean that the 37 vibration makes its brew. It reads all of the ancient wisdom that's related to the recipe, but what's the badass part is that they're self-directed. They are self-reliant. 37 is self-reliant. It works from within. Doesn't wait for other people. Has its own instinctive sense, their own way of seeing the world, their own language, and they pioneer because they work from their inner convictions. So there's a sense of inner conviction and inner directedness. And sometimes you'll see the 37 vibration become fierce as they face crisis and dive into intense situations that most people avoid. But 37 vibration is not confrontive. They're not so much fierce with other people, they're fierce with themselves. So 37 actually tends to be rather humble, a little bit introverted, but in their work, they are persistent, unstoppable, and audacious. So they'll take risks, they will go deep, they're going to find out how to get this perfected mastery, to get this really great soup, we could call it. They develop their ideas and attitudes over time in their own internal world and then later share it with others. I'm saying similar things as to what I said before, just to rephrase it so you get the full feeling of this. The 37 vibe develops a set of specialized ideas or a mission or purpose that is well developed and effective, but does not incorporate a diversity of viewpoints and perspectives. So 37 vibration is fairly specialized. It gets in deep. In order to have a deep, rich mastery, it does not spread itself too thinly. It focuses right in there. It focuses most of its attention on anything related to the specific task at hand. So 37 Vibe can learn everything directly related to their specialized interests, so they can incorporate any information that is directly relevant. So 37 vibration is not so narrow-minded that it's not taking in information. It takes in lots of information, studies, sometimes in great detail, but things that are directly relevant. It doesn't feel a need to go outside its area of specialization because it has the confidence that this area of specialization is important, and they want to get depth rather than breadth. They want to go deep with it. Therefore, 37 Vibe tends to be most successful in specialized missions rather than negotiating complex issues among diverse people or the need to integrate many different components from different sources. 37 vibration is not interested in negotiating or relating all kinds of different things. That's just a distraction. They know that the soup that they are making is good, it's important, and they want to perfect it. It doesn't need to be the most important soup in the world or solve all the world's problems, but they want to get this one thing right, get it deep, and develop mastery with it. It is important for 37 Vibe to pursue areas that are appropriate for its specialized talents and not apply them to different circumstances where they may not be effective. Generalizing to other situations often does not work. So 37 vibration is not looking for universal truth and to negotiate and relate what they're doing to everything. They want to just get it right. So you can think of genres of music. If you're doing jazz music or folk music or any kind of music, you don't have to relate that folk music to some other classical traditions or traditions from other countries or other time periods. You know the music is important. You know it's beautiful. You just want to develop the depth of understanding with it and everything that's directly related to it. So there are a wide variety of activities that are suitable for 37 vibration. 37 vibration is very good at orchestrating, conducting, or directing a large project that exposes them to danger. Now, why a large project? Because even though 37 is specialized, they develop depth and expertise and an understanding of everything related to it. So if they're involved in singing medieval music, musical group or choirs of some kind, they are going to study the history, the music theory, the instruments that were used, everything involved and related to that, and develop such a mastery and depth with it, and such a commitment. It's so much in their soul that they can orchestrate, conduct, and direct a large project related to this area of specialization. Even if they die doing it, their devotion to something that they go deep with is impressive. Number two, they're good at creating or expressing themselves in a masterful, deep, profound, and original way. In fact, they often establish a new movement that is unique to them and may die with them. This can be in any field, whether it's artistic, scientific, commercial, etc. 37 goes deep, and in going deep, they develop an expertise and a personal touch that can be impressive and can become a leader or guide for others. Now, an interesting thing about 37, even though it's introverted, even though it's humble, its intensity, its commitment, its depth, its mastery tends to draw followers. And that remember I said there's a 7 and a 13 vibration quality? The 13 quality comes through as their special interest. There's nothing else quite like what the 37 vibration does. They develop this depth of understanding, a depth of experience that has their own unique connection to it. It's not conspicuously inner. They express themselves through their uniqueness and often become leaders of their niche. They are uncompromisingly themselves, and the charisma just happens. So this charisma just grows out of their devotion and commitment to their area of expertise and specialization. We can say that 37 draws from their own well. So that's another phrase. They draw from their own well. This is a phrase that I came up with while we were discussing this with the other researchers, Starlene, Clarissa, and Linda, and the 37 vibration doesn't need to see what you are drawing from to find confidence in themselves. They have their own self-defined reality. They easily become leaders or influencers and sometimes are charismatic because they are not followers and they have this sincere expression. They will learn from others. It's not like they're not going to look at anybody else's well. If you're digging a well and doing something and they notice and they say, well, that looks interesting. They appreciate it because there's not a big ego. They want to do something special, but they're humble and they're sincere. And they say, oh, this person is doing something very cool. They will learn from others if it's relevant and if it attracts them. But they're not going to go around looking at what everybody else is doing. It's kind of a waste of time and a distraction. A negative possibility for 37 vibration, because everything in astrology has positive and negative possibilities. A negative possibility is being narrowly involved and not taking in information from others and not taking ideas outside their own orbit. So 37 will draw information from people that they see as having something important or relevant, but those may be few and far in between, and they may discount most other sources of information and see too many things as distractions when in fact they could enhance what they're doing. So sometimes 37 is too self-absorbed, too self-reliant, and doesn't see the benefit of what something that appears a little bit outside their orbit could actually add to what they're doing. 37 is inclined to be specialized in a niche-oriented area, and sometimes a kind of tunnel vision that inclines them to miss things outside of their sphere of activity. We're going to look at the charts of 3 people who have extreme 37 vibration. One of them is a fellow Feike Asma. I hope I'm saying his name right. He played the organ. Well, he played the organ all day. I mean, he was a master of the organ. He was so deeply involved that he played organs inside cathedrals. The depth, I mean, think of an organ inside a cathedral. This is like a archetypal image of 37 vibration. And this fellow, Feike Asma, he actually lived this archetypal 37 vibration world of being in the cathedral, playing the rich, thundering sounds of these organs. And he mastered these different pieces of music with all of their complexities. And he was so deeply involved in it. The 37 vibration creates this world that they live in. What would it have been like to be his wife? You know, they don't have time or energy to go outside of their area of specialization. They become so absorbed in it. Things that take tremendous focus and long-term involvement, like sculpting or movie making. Think about movie making with the endless numbers of slides and editing. So many kinds of work require attention. You know, if you're sculpting, going back to it, considering all of the variables, what the clay is like. Is it too wet? Is it drying? How is it responding to what you're doing? What are the options for doing it? All of that depth becomes involved with 37 as it goes deep and tries to get a very special effect. Most people are not as well developed in a specialty as 37 vibe, and 37 vibe is not flitting around like most people are compared to 37. They build a cathedral and they live in their cathedral. I'm saying that metaphorically for Feike Asma, that was literally true. Another image of 37. They build a cathedral and they live in their cathedral. So these images, can help you tune in to what 37 vibe is like. You can remember these images. Now, the 3 people who came up strongest with 37 vibration in the research that Starlene did, and that we have enough biographical information for, they were all born on the same day, April 21st, 1912. They were born within 7 hours of each other. So they're what we call time twins. They're born very, very close in time. So for about half a day on April 21st, 1912, there was a huge 37 vibration configuration. And 3 famous people were born during those within 7 hours. with this huge configuration. They pursue different careers, but the way that they do it, all of them, 37 vibe. Think of them in their cathedral that they build, the depth, the mastery, the just going deep fearlessly. So here they are, Marcel Camus, not to be confused with the philosopher Albert Camus. This is Marcel Camus, Wally Elenbaas, and Feike Asma. So let's look at Marcel Camus. So here's his birth chart on the left. You'll notice that Mars, Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, Sun, and Saturn spread about 15 degrees. 6 planets spreading 15 degrees. This is his 37 vibration chart. And there will be midpoint structures. For example, you can see Uranus at 3 degrees is going to be at the midpoint of Mercury and Jupiter, which are at 0 and 6. So there are all kinds of midpoint structures. Sun is at Jupiter, Saturn, reinforcing this huge stellium. So who was he? He was a French film director. His most famous and successful award-winning film was called, the English translation, The Black Orpheus. It won several awards. The Black Orpheus combines Greek myths with contemporary life in Brazil in an intriguing and complex multi-layered plot. This is the kind of thing 37 vibration people do. They get involved with something deep, mysterious, complex, that absorbs all of your attention, that's multi-layered and has a very deep, profound effect. It can be in any area of life. But this kind of complex drama with many layers of feelings and mystery to it is something that 37 vibration is inclined to. And all of the detail, all of the film editing, etc. Now people can go into areas like this from other vibrations, but 37 vibration always needs this deep, complex, specialized area to immerse themselves in. So the Black Orpheus, this film, is a witch's brew of ancient Greek myths, you see in the title, Orpheus, expressed in a contemporary context and focuses on the existential issues of death, love, sex, and music in a multi-layered film. He's going right to the depths of life. It's like this Shakespearean kind of quality. Death, love, sex, going in deep. He's taking an ancient Greek myth and he's putting it in a contemporary setting in Brazil. This has all of the qualities of the witch's brew, the 37 vibration. He digs deep into the heart and soul of the human experience and fiercely exposes vulnerabilities, frailties, and crisis. He used black actors, which was pioneering at the time. So this dramatic affects the depth of feeling and experience. This is the nature of 37. It's the opposite of being light and frivolous. Camus survives a German prisoner of war camp. So in his actual life, he was a prisoner of war in Germany. He goes to the favelas of Brazil to make this masterpiece. The favelas are ghettos where there's a high crime rate and added danger. Typical of 37 vibration. They want to experience life deep and raw. This is the 37 vibration willingness to do what you feel within you, whether you live or die, and to face mortal dangers that are inherent in life. So that's the serious depth of 37 vibration. Also, the vibrancy, rich and luxurious setting and orchestration, and the stark representations of sexuality and sensuality, and the grittiness of it all have the quality of 37 vibration, fierce honesty. So this is a rich movie, but with stark ideas. So, as with many 37 vibration people, this personal achievement lived with him and died with him. So it's something that he developed to a very high point, and nobody else could quite do it the same way. So just in case you're curious, this is his birth chart as well, but we're mainly interested in the 37 vibration in this research. Here are some images on the left of a poster for the Black Orpheus, and there's a picture of him on the right. Now, Wally Elenbaas, the second of three super 37 vibration people, We have two wheels here. On the left is Camus, Marcel Camus. On the right is Wally Elenbaas. And Wally Elenbaas was born 2 hours and 40 minutes after Marcel Camus in a similar area of the world. So this time period of extreme 37 vibration. Notice that Camus has 0 Virgo rising. Elenbaas has 29 Virgo rising. Born a little over 2 hours later, with the very end of Virgo instead of the very beginning of Virgo rising. So they're very similar charts. Notice how the planets have gone a little closer to setting. It's a little bit later, 2.5 hours later in the chart on the right, which is Wally Elenbaas. Excuse me. Now, the conjunctions are very similar. With Wally Elenbaas, Venus has moved into the configuration a little bit more, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 planets now in the configuration instead of 6, because Venus has moved in closer. In that 2.5 hours, Venus has moved up within 7 degrees of Mercury. So we have Venus, Mercury, Mars, Uranus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Sun spreading, spreading quite a bit. That's actually spreading 22 degrees. So that's spreading outside the 16-degree orb. So it's many planets spreading and connecting together. Okay, but if you leave Venus out, it's spreading 15 degrees. So from Mercury to Sun. But again, you're going to get reinforcing midpoint structures. It looks like Mercury is probably at Venus, Uranus midpoint, etc. Huge configuration. So here I say the 6 planets are within 15 degrees. Leaving Venus out, we have Mercury through Sun within 15 degrees. So who is Wally Elenbaas? He's an award-winning photographer, sculptor, graphic artist, and painter. He is well known for his photographs of demonstrations and images of crisis. Are we surprised? Crisis, depth, existential depth. In the late 1920s, he joined the Communist Youth Association. Again, we see the themes of deeply developed thoughts, interest in death and personal crisis, and his willingness to stand up for the beliefs and ideas he has developed, this self-reliance. During World War II, Elenbaas was imprisoned for travels around the country in connection with various illegal activities, such as producing forged identity papers. He escaped imprisonment by falsifying papers. So this again is, you might say, the bravery, the intensity of 37. It's not a bravery that's a social kind of bravery. It's something within themselves, something that's, you might say, introverted. 37 is an introverted, deep orientation to life. Again, we see independence, tenacity, and a kind of deep-rooted stubbornness and conviction that develops from having ideas that have been slowly simmered and perfected over time. Self-reliance and persistence. Elenbaas's life is the story of 37 vibration, a deep, profound way of seeing the world. He develops his own inner rich world of ideas, and he is devoted to his beliefs. These are the key qualities of 37 vibration. Elenbaas was even imprisoned for his ideas. This is the story of someone who so deeply believes in their inner world of ideas that they are willing to sacrifice for them. 37 is so immersed in what it's involved in. It lives by it, and it will die by it, and it will stand by it. His works are deep, they're heavy, and they do not shy away from the crises, conflicts, and problems of his time. He demonstrated the fearless work contained a willingness to enter hostile situations and photograph crises. So again, we see the similarity of Elenbaas and Camus in going into these existential crises. He was awarded a Medal of Honor by the city of Rotterdam. A Medal of Honor is a kind of archetypal representation of 37 vibration because you develop your inner belief system, you devote yourself to it, and you are faithful to it. You do not back down, you do not compromise on your convictions. This is worthy of a Medal of Honor when expressed in a positive way. So 37 vibration often is honored, sometimes posthumously, sometimes after their death, because people realize their commitment, their depth of devotion to something that they were so deeply involved in, regardless of whether a lot of people appreciated it or understood it. That's what 37 vibration does. And 37 vibration often attracts followers because people realize the depth of commitment and self-reliance of the person. Now notice, both Camus and Wally Elenbaas were painters. Elenbaas was a professional painter, but Camus also did some painting. Both were prisoners in World War II. Interesting coincidence. Both exposed issues of crisis and death, one through film, one through painting and sculpture. Both had strong inner convictions. Both worked with abstractions and complex motifs. So these are the qualities, this is the lifestyle, this is the way of 37 vibration. Here's some of Wally Elenbaas's murals and sculptures. Notice they're very abstract. And Feike Asma, who I've already started to mention, the organ player. He was born 5 hours before Camus, and so this 37 vibration was strong for about 12 hours. And so we have these three astro twins, all born about the same time. Feike Asma, born a little bit earlier, has Cancer rising. Remember that Camus and Elenbaas have Virgo rising, so a little bit earlier in the day. Very similar configurations. When we look at the 37 vibration, we now, at this time, have Mars, Sun, Uranus, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn all together. Venus is out of the configuration, so we have these 6 planets spreading about 15 degrees. Looks like more like 16 degrees. So the sun is near the beginning of the stellium rather than towards the end. So the sun is earlier. So this is earlier. The faster moving planets are earlier in the configuration. So who was Feike Asma? He was a Dutch organist. He played in churches and cathedrals. He played sacred and secular works by Bach, Handel, Mendelssohn, and less-known composers. Asma gave organ concerts almost every day of his working career. My gosh, this is 37 vibration. They just dive deep and they live in their world. He developed a unique style of play that was immediately recognizable. Another thing about 37, they dive so deep, so committed. They want to get some special magic out of what they're doing, that special brew. And that special brew becomes unmistakably theirs. And this is what happens with Asma. He developed a unique style that was immediately recognizable. Why? Just because they're striving to extract out something unique, something beautiful, something, an essence. They're striving for a special essence. It's not so much that they want to stand out or be recognized for being unique. It's that they're diving deep to find a unique essence in the world in which they exist. He had the ability to make every organ sound different due to his touch. Again, the mastery, the sensitivity. Purists do not like his playing, but probably more people consider him to be one of the greatest organ players. So that's interesting. 37 vibration develops its own unique style. Maybe I didn't emphasize that enough. They develop their own unique brew. And if you're looking for somebody who just reflects and maintains the ancient tradition, makes that soup the way grandma made it and grandma's grandma, and preserves the tradition, you don't want 37 vibration, because they go back and they find something refreshingly different in the tradition. So Asma also builds a large inner world of ideas that he is faithful to. He's an organ player and he here's a quote, refuses to slavishly serve the instructions of a composer. So he doesn't just play the piece, just repeat it as if he was just a recorder of it. He puts his own soul into it, his own sensitivity. That's why he's not a purist, and some people object to the way he does it. This is what you get with 37 vibration. You're going to get a unique brew. You're going to get their brew. You're not, they're going to put their own effect on. They're going to get their own herbs. They're going to change up the recipe a little bit. Why? Because they find something powerfully unique, a nice essence in there that appeals to them. And they think will appeal to anyone who appreciates it. That's the 13 impact of finding something special. They are not going to just replay the tradition. Just like Elenbaas, who gets imprisoned for his ideas, Asma is unwilling to yield to the beliefs of others or to compromise his deeply developed sense of how things work. The commitment, the self-directedness, the faithfulness, and devotion to what they sense is important and works for them. This is 37 vibration at work. So Asma lives the 37 vibration life. He has his witch's brew. He goes into the most spectacular places of contemplation, and he is the maestro who makes the most impressive part of the cathedral resound with soul-stirring, intense music. That is a traditional religious analogy to a rock concert in terms of intensity and depth of feeling. That organ is a centerpiece of the cathedral. He's the one who plays it. He's the one who brings out the rich intensity of it and shakes the room, so to speak. He is the maestro. He draws out of it something special by playing every day, by living, breathing, experiencing the depth of soul. This is 37 vibration at its best. And just some images of different organs, the size, the grandeur, the depth, the wisdom, and there's a picture of him in the lower right corner. This is really quintessential 37 vibration. Here's some more pictures of him. Kind of brooding and deeply involved and committed to this experience. So, conclusions: the extreme case sampling study gives a great indication of what these prime numbers mean. A lot of what I said at the beginning is also additional insights and perspectives that we've gotten over the past 2 years using these ideas, and now we're very confident about the meaning of 37 vibration, and you can feel comfortable using 37 vibration in your chart interpretations. Again, I want to thank Starlene for her brilliant research and everybody else who helped with it. Clarissa and Linda and myself, we had so many meetings going over, reflecting, and just really getting it down. And then over the past few years, using it in our chart interpretations, noticing different people who have this strong 37 vibration, and it's proved to be very reliable and very, very helpful in our chart interpretations. So that's it, my friends. Eventually I'll make videos on the other vibrations that we have now understand. Vibrational astrology is evolving and developing all the time, and we get more and more insights over time as we do the research, as we work with more clients, and just work with the vibrational astrology. Thank you very much for listening and being a part of this. God bless. Namaste.